I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop.
Sense of me, you will never stop the free. Thinking that's gonna shut you down. Post the truth, then go to town. Sense of me, kick me off of every platform. I'll just go to get a gab and rumble. Now you can't stop me. I think we all see it, but cannot believe it. The glint in our eyes as we look at the sky to see that it's falling and people are calling. I think we all know that the end is nigh. But how can it be? The people is me. I posted a tweet and it got deleted. Don't look at me like I'm conceited. If you conceded, then tell me why you stuck on the YouTube, then on the Facebook, calling it meta. We fed it the cheese, I mean fed it with cheese. They wanna release all of your data to screw up your piece. They censor me, then take liberty. Don't even let me post up with the need. Album to blast, they gonna ban that. Take it up, genius, you can't even read the lyrics of Brandon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into your favorite daily show for news, entertainment, and all-around enlightenment of the daily subjects of the daily weekday. And I challenged myself to see how many times I could say daily in my intro. Welcome back to our show, The Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual. This is our show where we break down the news happening today. And as always, there is plenty to talk about. First things first, once you guys are getting in here, make sure you absolutely obliterate that like button. I'm seeing a friend of the channel in the chat. What's going on? Let's be frank. Nice to see you in here. If you don't know what this is actually our every weekday show at 3 Eastern. So Mondays through Fridays, we try to do this show every weekday at 3 to break down the news, 30 minutes or so to break down the news, in addition to our every week show we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8, Crump Live, which we will once again have one tonight, which is going to be a very fun show that you guys are not going to want to miss. But today's topics are ones that you are not going to want to miss either. Now, if you clicked on this, you probably already know that this is going to be a controversial episode because it's a controversial world we're living in, with Hunter Biden's and Joe Biden's floating all around saying things like,
"And you ain't black."
And
"Rub my leg down."
So you're not going to want to miss this. Let's just jump into it, starting the timer right. Let's do it right at 3:45, right about now. Hunter Biden's infamous laptop has been confirmed in a New York Times report. Now, this is something that, to me, doesn't really mean anything, but to a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people, in fact, it's trending right now on Twitter, it means something. Now, you guys may remember, or may not remember, that in October, around October of 2020, right before the election, Hunter Biden was exposed through his laptop, which was reported to the FBI after he dropped it off at a repair center in Delaware, and they looked through the hard drive and were like, this is some crazy stuff. I need to give this to somebody so that they can do something with it. Whatever happened to that hardware shop owner, we don't know. I hope he's still doing well. But anyways, the FBI got a hold of it, and surprisingly, they didn't get rid of it and, cover up for the Bidens as far as we know, but they actually took the information and reported some of it to news segments that got a hold of the information and spread it. But of course, something that happened during that time is that all these different people came out to call it Russian misinformation. We're going to dig into that in a minute, but it was discredited. Trump talked about it. He called it the laptop from hell, which was a very big thing amongst him and his followers. Me being one of them, I was like, yeah, that's hilarious, but it's true, the laptop from hell. But anyways, this is something that caught a lot of fire in 2020, and then really started to cool down in 2021. I mean, in conservative circles, a lot of people would bring it up and mention it, but not much further than that. We're going to jump into it, though, because it seems it is catching a bit more flame now. No pun intended. A comprehensive report about the ongoing federal probe into Hunter Biden's tax filings, published by the New York Times on Wednesday night, confirmed the existence of the first son's infamous laptop. In October 2020, the Post exclusively reported on the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop that he ditched at a Delaware repair shop in April 2019. The laptop's hard drive contained a trove of emails, text messages, photos, and other documents between Hunter Biden and his family and business associates, detailing how the president's son used his political leverage in his overseas business dealings. The repair shop owner reported the laptop to the FBI, which seized the device and its hardware drive. As part of the investigation into Biden, the Times reports federal prosecutors have looked into emails between the first son and his former business associates that were recovered from the laptop. Some of the scrutinized correspondence was between Hunter Biden and Devin Archer, who had served with the first son on the board of Burisma, which is yet another thing that caught a lot of flame just last year. Frank says the shop owner is now bankrupt and is still being harassed by the IRS. That's insane. Also check in on that, the report said. Archer, who was sentenced last month in an unrelated fraud case, has cooperated completely with the feds in their probe into Hunter Biden. According to the Times, the emails between Hunter Biden, Archer, and others regarding their international business activity came from files the publication obtained that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in a Delaware repair shop. And Frank is in the chat saying he did a story on it last week. Frank, in a minute, I might have to directly check your channel to take a look at that. So stick around. I might do a live reaction to that. That's insane. People familiar with the emails and investigation confirmed their authenticity to the Times. So there it is. There you have it. All the things that we saw on the laptop have been confirmed. The laptop confirmation was included in the Times report that also revealed how Hunter Biden paid off a tax liability of over $1 million 1 year after he was announced he was under investigation for defrauding the How do you defraud the IRS? That's hilarious. Hunter Biden has been under investigation for failing to pay taxes since his father was vice president, but the inquiry broadened in 2018 to look into how his international business dealings intersected with Biden's political career. Bringing us all the way up to today, with all these different people saying it was fake. Well, let's look at what Trump said back in 2020 in the midst of the election. Because he was the one spreading a lot of the news about this laptop, and this is what they said to him.
Leslie.
And you think it's the biggest issue to campaign on?
I think it's one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen, and you don't cover it. You want to talk about...
Well, because it can't be verified.
You want to talk about insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me, they found the laptop, Leslie.
They found the laptop, and she's saying it can't be verified. I don't know, what network is Leslie with? Stahl? Let's see here. Let's just do some live research. I want to see Leslie Stahl. Is that a person? Leslie Stahl. So Leslie Stahl is an American journalist with CBS. So there you go. CBS was saying, "Oh, it can't be verified, so we can't do any news about this."
It can't be verified.
What can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why do you say that?
Because
even the family hasn't. The family on the laptop. He's gone into hiding for 5 days. He's gone into hiding.
He's going into hiding. It's true, he did. You had Trump saying, "Where's Hunter?" And of course he came out and said, "I'm right here, Mr. President." But like, come on. He did his hiding, and I think isn't that ironic? It's trending on Twitter right here. But it goes a little bit further. Jen Psaki was asked about the laptop just earlier, and here's what she said. She called it Russian disinformation.
The president has said, and you have tweeted, that allegations of wrongdoing based on files pulled from Hunter Biden's laptop are Russian disinformation. There is a new book by a Politico reporter that finds some of the files on there are genuine. Is the White House still going with Russian disinformation?
I think it's broadly known and widely known, Peter, that there was a broad range of Russian disinformation back in 2020.
A broad range of Russian disinformation in 2020. This is how they justify pitting our culture against Russian culture. This is how they justify making all these countries pull out of Russia, pull out of operating a business. And we're going to be talking about a business that is refusing to pull out, that is catching some flack later on in the brief today. But this is how they do it. Russian disinformation. She didn't even give a clear answer on it.
Information.
I think it's broadly known and widely known, Peter, that there was a broad range of Russian disinformation back in 2020.
A broad range of Russian disinformation, implying that that was part of it, despite the fact that it has been proven without a shadow of a doubt that Hunter Biden was up to some weird mess on that laptop. Some of it illegal, some of it disgusting, all of it damning for the Biden campaign. But I guess it doesn't matter, because when you're running for president as a Democrat like Joe Biden was, the media, the deep state, investigatory powers like the FBI will either be on your side and completely erase anything that has to do with a scandal regarding you, Or at least wait until you've already garnered power and have an iron fist on the government and the people of the United States before saying anything about it. Because now that Biden is president, he has executive privilege. He can shield himself from all these different things. He can pass along a pardon to his son if his son gets dinged with anything, which I doubt would happen, him get hit with anything. But he has that power. He can get out of all of this. So no wonder why the only way he can get through to the people about it is by making it trend on Twitter. Lauren Boebert tweets, now that the New York Times has even confirmed that Hunter Biden laptop's veracity, can we begin to admit that Joe Biden is by definition a compromised politician? Julie Kelly says on October 2020, several men were arrested in Michigan who were being accused of conspiring to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. The case made national, damning headlines for Trump as millions of Americans were voting for president. A week later, news of Hunter Biden's laptop content was censored because that is yet another thing that they do. They will censor you for talking about it. Despite the fact that those that were involved partly in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping campaign were more Fed agents than actual people who were interested in doing it. They were just a bunch of feds collaborating together and then going back to home base and saying, oh, look at all these guys who are planning to kidnap Democrat governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Look at this. It's all the Trump's fault. It was basically a this is MAGA country all over again. You remember all those different hoaxes and psyops that they would spin our way to try to destroy MAGA culture? And I guess in a way you could say they won. In a way you could say they won because they have the power now. They're free. They're home free. They don't have to deal with any of this mess. And they leave us to pick up the pieces. At the gas pump, for example. With these gas prices on this shirt not seeming all that far out of reason. Look at that. $9 for regular gallon, $9.69 for plus, $9.99 for premium. And a classic I did that sticker to boot. Now, thankfully, I don't think there's a gas pump in America where these gas prices are true yet. Give it a month. Maybe 2 months. If we don't find a way to reverse course, give it a month. If you want to get this shirt so that all the people around you can call you crazy until 2 months pass and things really turn sour, then you're going to want to go and visit the link in the description or the link in the chat and check out all of our Virus of Intelligence merchandise that you can find right on our Teespring store. So you can find this shirt, which chronicles the gas prices, and don't forget the call to action. Hashtag bring back mean tweets, Virus of Intelligence. All of these shirts are available on our Teespring. Different colors, of course. You can get it in red. You get it in purple, even. I didn't even know that one was there, but look at that. The gas prices. So if you want to rep the gas prices while also styling on them with a royal purple-looking shirt, you could do so by going to chandlercrump.com/merch or hitting up the description and visiting our Teespring store where all these are available. We also have other designs declaring that there are indeed only two genders. The fact that Fauci needs to be arrested for his crimes against pup humanity, killing those poor puppies in those science experiments. All these different things you can find available on our store now. Crazy stuff, am I right? I want to give a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in with us. If you guys haven't already, make sure you smash that like button and keep tuning in to our daily show, The Chandler Brief. Also, make sure you tune in once again tonight at 8 for our Crump live show. I want to give a big thank you to our current Hall of Heroes members, Mark Cook, and the other Hall of Hero member right here has reset for the week. So if you're interested in joining up and supporting our channel while also declaring your name as a hero of the channel, then make sure you visit our options for donation in the description below and consider a one-time or even a monthly donation to support our content. We also, of course, support Cash App donations, so if you're interested in doing it through there, that works just as well. But speaking of trying to do something about curbing gas prices, there's a big thing happening in various states and even potentially some federal actions coming soon regarding gas prices. Now, is it resuming federal drilling within America and allowing the Keystone XL pipeline to be completed and getting gas and oil where it needs to be? No. Why would we do that? Jen Circleback Saki clearly says that that's not going to do anything for us, right? So what else can we do? Well, I guess we can lower taxes on them. A bill to suspend the gas tax passes the Georgia Senate and is heading to the governor's office to sign. Now, there's a few different stories about this, but I wanted to cover this one first, just to show you guys that this is starting close to home for me because I am a resident of Georgia. The Georgia Senate unanimously passed a Georgia House bill that would temporarily suspend the state's gas taxes. The bill will now head to Governor Brian Kemp's office, who said he would sign it immediately. The gas tax is currently listed at 29 cents per gallon. Once it is signed, it will be suspended through May 31st, which will definitely do plenty to knock down the gas prices at the pump for those of you that need to be pumping. Because the sign, the number on the sign, and plus the tax, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for people to pay. In Georgia, it's hovering around $4. In some areas, you can get it as low as like $3.90 or $80. But it's really hurting those in Georgia. In other states, it is tremendously higher. And so there are, thankfully, other states that are doing something about it. But let's dig a little bit more into this. When gas prices hit record highs in Georgia and nationally, the governor announced he would do quick work with the Senate and House to get the bill passed. Kemp previously said suspension of the gas tax will not affect his proposed tax refund, which he has promised will give $200 to each Georgian. This is not the first time Georgia has suspended its gas tax. Last year, Kemp suspended motor fuel taxes for several days, which is a different story. It's about the pandemic, but still, it all plugs into the exact same story that we're dealing with currently. But let's jump in a little bit further. Let's look at some other states that might finally be doing something at maybe knocking down the gas prices at least a little bit. Other states that are considering it are jumping in. Governors and state legislators are considering moves to suspend state gas taxes as the cost of fuel continues to soar to record levels. A bipartisan effort that comes as a high prices hammer household budgets across the nation. Maryland legislators have fast-tracked a bill to suspend the state gas tax for 30 days. The Democratic-controlled General Assembly plans to send the bill to Larry Hogan's office by the middle of the week after Hogan and legislative leaders reached a deal. In Georgia, we already covered that one. Florida legislators last week voted to suspend the state's gas tax for a month, but not until October, when tourism is at its lowest ebb of the year. California is doing something. Governor Gavin Newsom used his State of the State address to pledge what advisors said would eventually be billions of dollars in relief money for those paying higher prices at the pump, though without offering specifics. That's interesting. Virginia says they have pushed their legislatures to delay gas tax increases, so they won't increase it further. Legislators or governors in Alaska, Idaho, New York, Ohio, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and a few other states have all floated proposals to introduce legislation related to gas taxes in recent days. And a group of 6 Democratic governors last week called on congressional leaders to suspend the federal gas tax. So the government is thankfully trying to do something about it, but they're not attacking it at the root cause of all this mess. They're not. But to, ease things just a little bit, I can't do anything about it. But what I can do is show you some hilarious memes about the gas prices. We all know our proud boy, our wrong words to use, but our proud young man, Kyle Rittenhouse, who thankfully beat his charges earlier last year, I believe. Somebody made this wonderful meme that I just have to show you guys. It's funny.
That's right, run.
It's hard to watch, of course, because if you know the context of why that young man is devastated, you'll understand it's a little sad, but it's also quite funny when you transpose it over the idea of the gas prices. I gotta know who made this. It is so well done. The way they have the gas pump under his hand, so it looks like he's really holding it. That is good. Them dang gas prices, folks. I don't even drive yet, and I'm like, oof, that is tough. That is tough. But another quote-unquote root cause for the problem, as Jen Circleback Psaki and Trump and Pelosi would, not Trump, Biden and Pelosi would make you think, it's all about Russia. It's the Putin price hike. And as we spoke about before, dozens, or no, not even dozens, hundreds of companies have said that they will cease action and cease operation in Russia and are announcing that they will be pulling out of the country indefinitely. Some not even giving a timeline. Some companies have thankfully come back in small amounts. But one company that has stood strong and refused to shut down its manufacturing taking place in Russia is Koch Industries. Now, they have broken their silence on Russia operations and say they will continue to operate its 2 glass factories there. Let's dig into this. Koch Industries in Wichita, Kansas, which is a company run by billionaire Republican mega donor, I don't know why they felt the need to say that, but Charles Koch, broke its silence on its plans for its Russian operations on Wednesday and said it would continue to operate its 2 glass manufacturing facilities there. The company, which is bucking the trend of U.S. companies withdrawing or curtailing their activities on Russia following the unprovoked invasion, yada yada, of Ukraine, said closing the little plants would put its employees at greater risk and do more harm than good. I mean, yeah, how are they going to get money? How are they going to work? In a statement signed by COO Dave Robertson, Koch said its 2 glass manufacturing facilities, which are part of a Guardian Industries, a company acquired in 2017, employ about 600 people, and that outside of that, it employs 15 individuals in Russia. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and other people, Ron Wyden, said that while Guardian's business in Russia is a very small part of Koch, we will not walk away from our employees there or hand over these manufacturing facilities to the Russian government so it can operate and benefit from them, which the Wall Street Journal has reported they would do. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer went on to said that the news was shameful and charged Koch with putting profit ahead of defending democracy. So I guess that's what happens when you try to just operate your business in 2022. right? As the democracies of the world make huge sacrifices to punish Russia for Putin's illegal and vicious invasion of Ukraine, Coke Industries continues to profit off of Putin's regime. It is time for Coke Industries to put the values of democracy ahead of its own profits. We are calling on Coke Industries to immediately suspend their operations in Russia. American companies that continue to do business with Russia should not receive U.S. tax benefits that offset taxes paid to Putin's regime. Wow. So a whole-on threat coming from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and other people within the Senate. They're mad. They are mad. They see it as an affront to what is happening in 2022, the Stand With Ukraine movement. I've spoken more than enough on this Stand With Ukraine mess. I've brought it to you guys. The only question is, what do you think? I gotta know. Let me know in the comments below. Where do you stand on this Russia-Ukraine stuff? And not even necessarily about the war, but about the reaction. That's what I'm really interested in. Because the way that these companies have been pulling out, social media companies have been ceasing their operation, so much so that now people within Russia are suffering on the daily because they don't have connection to the rest of the world. It's a little hard. But now we're seeing that countries are finding their own way around it. In India, they are trying to find a way to trade oil with Russia through their own currencies of the rubles and the rupees. Funny, are named currencies, but the connection there is interesting. Or perhaps in Saudi Arabia, which they are trading off from trading in US dollars to shift some of it to trade in Petro Yuan, which is a currency created explicitly for the purpose of the Chinese country to purchase oil, purchase petrol, purchase things of that nature that are very important. Those are the lifeblood of modern economies, the lifeblood of modern culture and society. And these companies and countries are finding ways around it. It's kind of worrisome for the standing that is America in 2022 and the modern day. But speaking of the standing, oh man, we've got a lot of problems. We've got a lot of problems, and they're going deep. They're going deep. Now, you may remember that we talked about just a minute ago the fact that there are, thankfully, and factually true, only two genders. As you can see, evidenced by this shirt, and it's a reference to my song, there's only two genders, only two chromosomes, only one God to defend us, aka two genders. But it doesn't mean, apparently, that you can't switch genders. That's what some people believe. Anyways, one of these people who has decided to switch genders, Leah Thomas, or Leah Thomas, that's what it is, L-I-A, Leah Thomas. Although I guess I see why subconsciously I wanted to call them Leah Thomas, because they're lying about their gender. Okay, alright, okay. Nobody's gonna last. I'll hit the laugh track sound effect for myself. Leah Thomas. Anyways, Leah Thomas has now once again absolutely Hulk smashed a swimming competition in the women's field. Now, keep in mind, Leah Thomas was born a male a few years ago, or I guess however years old they are, probably like 10 or not 10, but 20 or so years ago. Anyways, I'm just gonna, community guidelines, we'll just say she placed first in the NCAA women's 500-yard freestyle swimming competition and finished ahead by 30 seconds. Thomas is now placed number 1 on the leaderboard and is set to compete in the finals tonight with a final time of 4 minutes 33 seconds for the 500-yard, which I believe involves quite a few laps. Let's take a look at this. Let me turn it down a little bit. Oh my gosh. I don't even have to look at this to know which one's Leah. I read before that she is the 4th one down, but right there, you can just look at that awe-striking lead, right? Look at that. Oh my gosh. And the flip. Man. Wow, are you serious? Look at that. Leah is just sailing through the water. This is what we're doing. And then let's just skip to the end, see how far ahead Leah is. So there's Leah right there, I presume. Actually, yeah, the 4th down. So there's Leah. Camera's following Leah. I'm giving up on pronouns. I'm not doing it. I can't. But watch how, wow. And there Leah goes. Right there. Finished 4 seconds ahead. Man. At the beginning of Leah Thomas competing in the NCAA 500-yard freestyle, a member of the audience screams, "Cheater!" Thomas then goes on to take the lead the entire competition. Let's hear this. This is the first 2 minutes and 2 minutes. I gotta hear them say cheater. So for reference, I believe Leah is this one. Oh yeah, you can tell, much larger than the rest. It's either this one or this one. It's one of the ones that is fourth down. They both kind of look tall, but we'll be able to see once they get in the water. Okay, yeah, this one's Leah. I think it's this one, yeah. Fourth, yeah. So this one's Leah here. So I think if you listen closely, you can actually hear them say cheater. Now, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but this actually took place in Atlanta today. This was at the Georgia Tech, I believe. It was one of the Georgia colleges, Georgia Tech or Georgia State. Actually, in this one, just interviewed a swimmer from Virginia Tech. But the NCAA competition happened today at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. I know at the very least it was in Atlanta. Thomas is in lane 4. So there you go, right there. And you heard the person say, cheater! Hilarious. Hilarious. And we're just letting this go. Now, to dig in a little bit as to why I said Virginia Tech a second ago, Savannah Hernandez, a friend of mine who's on the ground, said, just interviewed a swimmer for Virginia Tech. Her teammate was crying earlier because this was her last NCAA competition and she placed 17th in the category that Leah Thomas was swimming in. The top 16 go to the finals. An interview is to come. This young lady had a chance, the last chance of hers, to get into the finals and perhaps switch up the way things are, because when it's women, it's very close amongst them. There's not often a massive outlier unless it is Leah Thomas. This young lady was robbed, but because the feminist movement has evolved past the need of fem and the feminist, it's just inist now, I guess. It's ignorant now, for sure. Saw her crying earlier on the phone with her mom. Wasn't aware that's what she was upset about until now. So heartbreaking. I'm actually going to check her feed and see if the interview is up yet. It might not be up yet, but okay, so this is like an hour ago. Still working on it. But here are people that were actually protesting outside of the swimming complex today who were saying we need to save women's sports. Now, I don't have higher quality footage of it right now, but let's just see if we could search up save women's sports maybe. So save women's sports, and they were protesting outside of it today. So here's Savannah covering it. Here's another video of it. People that are protesting against people protesting for women, while also being a woman. You know, this is funny. It's a double standard. People are always like, Chandler, you can't be a conservative. You're a traitor to your race, when I'm supporting things that support my race. Meanwhile, these ladies are protesting for other women to have a safe and fair place to compete. And yes, safe and fair. Leah Thomas's former team members have all come out to say that they felt uncomfortable because Leah does not cover Leah's parts when Leah is changing in the female changing room, the female locker room. They become uncomfortable because Leah has not had surgery. Leah has not changed genders quite yet, at least as far as like the actual physical tense, and that's not how it works. But anyways, I find it ironic. I find it hilarious because in all senses of the word, if we were looking at things, this is what it's called being a gender traitor, right? She's anti-woman, right? Hate has no place at Georgia Tech.
But yet you bring discriminatory.
No, we are not discriminating against anyone.
I've made a grave error. I have made a grave error, folks. It's 2022, and I thought this was a girl. But it appears it might not be. You know, I'm not even gonna continue on. We're gonna leave that one right there and just jump into the article, because man, I thought that was a girl. I'm shaking my head, folks. Listen, okay, give me the benefit of the doubt here. Give me the benefit of the doubt. We have one more story we're gonna jump through in a minute, but give me the benefit of the doubt. Now, of course, they're covering most of their face, a mask. You can't really see their chin structure. Long hair. A pink-looking bag. Come on, guys. Come on. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Penn State swimmer, or Penn swimmer, says Leah Thomas's participation ruins the integrity of the sport ahead of the NCAA championship. Thomas is one of 322 athletes who qualified for men's and women's championships this week. University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas is set to participate in the 2022 NCAA Women's Swimming Championship. But one teammate told Fox News in an exclusive interview, that she that she fears the impact of her participation has completely ruined the integrity of the sport. The student who spoke to Fox on the condition of anonymity out of fear of retribution spoke highly of her team's accomplishments at the Ivy League Championships last month, but expressed her disappointment in the decisions that allowed Thomas, a 22-year-old transgender who competed on the men's team for 3 seasons, to compete against women with record-breaking performances. It's not necessarily an achievement in my mind. Women's records are separate from men's records. It's its own distinct category because no woman is going to be as fast as a man. And here is just completely, we're just throwing away the definition of a record to fit into someone else's agenda of what it should mean to them, when in reality, it makes no scientific sense to do so. No wonder this person wanted to be anonymous, because if this person, I believe it's a woman, the student who spoke out against it, unfortunately, would be retributed for it. They would receive a lot of backlash for these statements. Here's a close-up view of Leah Thomas. I'm sure you guys understand just a little bit better as to why this is strange. I can't even be completely free about how I want to say this, because YouTube would not be a fan of it. I received multiple community guidelines on my previous channel, which is why we had to migrate to this new channel. Speaking of it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. But these are the type of stories we're talking about here. Thomas is one of 322 athletes who qualified for the men's and women's championship this week after securing several records at the Ivy League Championship last month with wins in the 100, 200, and 500 freestyle events. Leah is set to compete in those same events, and in 2 of them, Leah ranks first in the nation. It's still just disappointing to know that the NCAA lacks the courage to do the right thing. The swimmer said, "I think if Leah were to break an Olympian's record, it would cause a lot of damage to the sport and to women. And I think it would cause more people to come out against the guidelines. People that were afraid to speak before." Now let me tell y'all something. If the Olympics turned around and let Leah Thomas participate as a woman swimmer, the world would not accept that. I guarantee you we would see multiple countries in the tens to dozens, maybe, I'm talking upwards of 20 countries that would boycott the Olympics for that specific reason. This is an affront to women's sports. I'm not even getting into the whole "you're transphobic" type of thing. I'm not even saying the things I want to say. We'll save that for a different stream on a different platform like Rumble, where I won't get censored or anything like that. But in the simple scheme of the facts of the matter, women's sports are women's sports for a reason. And that's why this student, who wanted to remain anonymous because they know they would be torn apart for saying this, wanted to say what they needed to say. They need to say that this cannot be allowed to continue on. And that's all we've got to say. Leah Thomas, those poor students, that poor young lady who lost out on such an amazing opportunity simply because we wanted to be woke, and she's now crying because she didn't get the chance to place in 16th, because if she had performed the exact same and Leah Thomas was not performing, more than likely, she would have made it to the finals and had another chance to swim. She has lost out on a pivotal chance in her life simply because we wanted to appease the woke. That's when we need to stand up. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in for this very great episode of the Chandler Brief. If you guys don't know, this is our every weekday show we do Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for your daily, what's a D word? Daily diversion of the news? That doesn't apply, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. We break down the news here every weekday at 3. We have a great time doing it, and I'm very happy to bring it to you guys. If you're interested in supporting our channel and joining our Hall of Heroes, all of those options are available in the description below. Just go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler and consider a one-time or even a monthly donation to support our content. This is what the website looks like once you get there. You can add your name to the donor wall. Shanna gave, yeah, okay, I remember that. Digest, there you go. Thank you, Roxanne Shante. The Daily Digest. The daily brief of your news and information right here in an entertaining manner. So shout out to all the people who have donated to support our content. Shout out to our Hall of Heroes members, which is just Mark Cook for now. If you want to join in, you can do so by hitting that link in the description. If you want to make it known to the world that you stand up against the woke, then make sure you go to chandlercrump.com/merch and get your very own There's Only Two Gender shirts, of which comes in multiple colors. In fact, if we check out some of the other ones that are other colors, you can see it comes in even these cool colors here with blue and pink to represent that there are truly only 2 genders. And I may have to come out with a new one that says you cannot change. There's only 2 genders, only 2 chromosomes, only one God to defend us. There's only 2 genders. Check it out in the description below. Aside from all that, thank you guys so much for being tuned in to our episode today. It is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you guys so much for being here. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. See y'all back here tonight at 8 for Crump Live. Peace.
Well, Into the light we go. Into the light. Into the light we go.